Welcome to the Village Boy Podcast. This is your host, Tres, on another episode. It's been a few days. We haven't done a show, traveling the world, studying, doing a lot of research. But I'm back because a lot of things are happening. And of course, the Village Boy has to analyze these things the only way he can, the only way he understands, or at least I understand. So, in the last couple of days, we saw one country invade another country. The United States of America invaded Iran, dropped bombs on its nuclear site to destroy the nuclear site and say Iran should never have access to a bomb. Do I agree? Do I want Iran to have a nuclear bomb? I don't know if I agree or I don't agree. I don't know. Because I know for a fact that if you have that kind of weaponry with you, people turn to not mess with you. See, I'm not one of those people that just look at one story from the perspective of who is telling the story. I like to understand why. The argument goes like this. Iran should not get a nuclear bomb because Iran is chanting death to America. Iran wants to blow up the 76-year-old nation of Israel. Israel has a nuclear weapon. Israel went on to attack Iran because Israel thinks it has to preemptively attack Iran before Iran can get itself a nuclear weapon and attack Israel. What gives the right to a country to attack another country unilaterally? That particular question is what keeps me awake at night. You have international organizations, you have International Agency, Atomic Agency, the IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, that agency that supersedes, that oversees any country that has nuclear ambitions, except for the United States and Israel. These are the only two countries that don't play by the international community's rules. These are the only two countries that dictate to everybody without being part of the team. So, I was going through CNN today and I watched Joy Reid destroy the entire panel. With my logic, it felt like I was the one sitting out there because I know Joy Reid to be a radical liberal. I never saw Joy Reid as somebody with this level of intelligence and composure. Now, she's a smart woman. You take that from her, Harvard graduate, but I've never seen this level of composure and foresight coming from her. I've always seen her argue radical liberal points, but now she sounded free. She sounded unhinged, free and liberated, and could speak up her mind. She sounded like she had caught a bug of the Village Boy. And that caught me off guard because I'm like, man, I need to listen. I was going to put it off. I was like, what does Joy Reid have to say? I was going to put it off. I was like, no, hold up. Let's listen to what Joy Reid has to say. She's asking the why. And if there's one question Americans don't like to answer, is the why. Why do they hate us? And they'll give you a BS answer like, oh, they hate our way of life. They hate the fact that men can be women, women can be men. They hate the fact that we want to castrate children. They hate the fact that's the biggest boom crap that I've ever heard. Why does somebody hate you and you say they hate you because of your way of life? No. You never tell them that they hate you because you messed with them first. And we're going to show it throughout this episode. And I'll ask the question, do these people have a right to hate you? And if they had the means to attack you, will they attack you? We're going to ask that question so we understand the basis of why people can have a fundamental dislike for you. But you put it down through the haters because of our way of life. Women wear their hair down, this and that, our freedoms. They don't have freedoms. This is not the channel for BS. This is a channel where people ask real questions. But we know mostly we're not going to have the answers for the real questions, but we're going to ask them nonetheless. Let's go ahead and listen to what the good old Joy Reid had to say.
Understand that the United States plays an important role in the world. I am thrilled that the United States is trying to police the proliferation of nuclear.
He is thrilled that the United States is trying to police the world. Okay. What gave America, the United States, that power to police the world? Somebody has to give. Think about it. Think about it at a very, very nuclear level. You are in your neighborhood and somebody decides to police the neighborhood, right? He has all the guns. He's the big dog. He starts to police everybody in the neighborhood without like the neighborhood community coming together and voting that there's a lot of crimes in the neighborhood. We're going to need a neighborhood watch. But the community came together and voted. This vigilante essentially took upon himself, right, to bypass the police of the city and start doing the work of the police by themselves because they feel like people are not. So actually, I think the name in America is a vigilante, right? And the police is actually going out for him, right? So, but the vigilante can be good and the vigilante can be bad. But so is America kind of like the vigilante, the one that is just taking upon itself to decide who gets to do what? Is that we should be able to describe these things clearly so everybody knows who's doing what. As he was saying, he is happy. Who gave America that power, that authority to take upon itself as the vigilante of the world, as the superhero, as the Marvels of the world? Because some people see the United States as Thanos, some people see the United States as the hero. You just have to be on which side and how you view the United States. Let's keep listening.
Nuclear weapons. Imagine what the world would look like if it was otherwise. And
I would agree. If nobody had nuclear weapons, the world would be peaceful. People would stay at home. Nobody's gonna. If nobody was allowed to have nuclear weapons, if the United States could have nuclear weapons, if China, Russia, France, Japan, all of these people couldn't have nuclear weapons, the world will be at peace. We would have conflicts, but it would not be conflicts that would escalate into nuclear wars because nobody has those weapons of mass destruction. So it would be an uneven world if some people have it and other people don't have it. Then we have a situation where we are bullying the ones that don't have it. And the ones that don't have it would want to have it and would go through nefarious ways to want to have the nuclear weapons for protection because they know that the enemy out there has the weapons and they can use it on them whenever they see fit. Now here's Joy Reid doing the destruction.
But the world, I will say,
the United States
would still be the only country that has ever bombed another country with nuclear weapons.
Twice. Hiroshima once, Nagasaki another time. And if we count testing in the Marshall Islands that destabilized the ecosystem of a people, we count other situations. Man, it's more than once. But let's stick with the twice that we know of, the two times that we know of. In Hiroshima, one little boy and fat man in Nagasaki. Let's carry on.
Let me ask you one question. Why did the Iran hostage crisis take place?
So certainly,
I'm asking you
fundamentalist radicals took over the government.
You see, they cannot answer the question why. They start to talk about fundamentalist radical. Why? A simple question. The answer is simple because America invaded Iran. Simple. That's the simplest ABC answer. But it can never tell you that. Look at the smirk on his face. Look at that smirk on his face. That's that guilt smirk on his face. He knows it. They start to talk about fundamental radicalists, Islamists, BS. No, that's never it. It's never it. But let's keep listening.
Government who
Why?
hate the West.
Why
because
did they take
hate
over the
West.
government? Why?
Because they're religious jihadis who want to eliminate Western
They
society.
hate
Why?
our way of life. They hate our way of life.
Or
They hate our way of life. They're religious fundamentalists, radicalists. You think that these people sit in whatever place that they sit and they're looking like, no, we hate the way those people, let's go bomb them. They don't have nothing to do. Or do you think that you mess with them and then they want to mess back with you? I mean, even in the drug war, these people don't target people that if you're in the drug lifestyle, these people don't target random people. Everybody that they target has some kind of connection into the drug war. They don't target random people. I mean, there's every now and then where there's a misidentity, a misbullet that hits somebody, but we're targeting somebody specifically to send a message to somebody. They don't go around targeting random people. So somebody's gonna sit somewhere. They have their own problems in there. They have their own realities in there, and they're gonna be looking at a Western country and be like, "Oh, we hate these people. Let's go bomb them." For what reason? If you don't come and mess with them, if you don't bring your religion to them, if you don't bring anything to tell them how they should be, you are already messing around with them. If you leave these people alone, they have no business with however backward or forward you want to live your lives. So this idea that somebody hates you because of your lifestyle, somebody far, far away, there are enough people in America that hate you for your lifestyle. Why do you argue like in America, you all love one another when you blacks don't even have rights? Women are barely just having rights, all kinds of chaos. You don't have universal health care. You have nothing for anybody outside to be envious of you. What life exactly? The only thing is, have you messed with these people before? Have you gone in there and tried to change something politically? Have you tried to introduce Western democracy to them? Have you tried to take out their natural resources and not given them a fair share of their natural resources? Have you used the coup branch of the federal government, the CIA? Have you used any of your tools to mess, restructure, reset, reorganize these people? Have you ever done it any time in history? That is the why. That's what Joy Reid is getting at. Why are these people after us? Why are these people after America? Why are these people after the West? And at every time, if you look at the remote course of why, is because the West went there and messed with them. And these folks on this panel never want to admit. But Joy Reid is going to keep them honest. Keep listening.
or they overthrew the Shah of Iran, who we imposed on Iran because the Dulles brothers, one at the CIA and one at the State Department, decided that the oil beneath the soil of Iran belonged to BP and belonged to us. And when Mossadegh, who was the leader of Iran, the democratically elected leader of Iran, said that we would like to audit BP because we want to know if you are cheating us or paying the people of Iran based on the oil under their soil. And they said, you may not audit us. And then we overthrew him and he wound up dying in prison because we decided that we, in our arrogance as a country, got to own their oil.
So
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you? I could play back. So you hear when anybody tells you they hate our way of life. Let me ask you, the people have their oil. You go out there, You try to drill their oil from their lands. There is not a country anywhere in the world that can come and drill American oil. Not one, not anywhere in the world. I mean, a foreign company like Shell, BP can have license issued by the federal government, but you're drilling in accordance with what America allows you to do. You don't dictate terms, and you cannot in any way overthrow the American government because you want to drill American oil. But that's what the CIA did. When Mossadegh, who was democratically elected, so in 1953, Iran was a democratic country. Iran was a secular country existing like every other country. Was trying to develop, and BP, British Petroleum, was trying to exploit Iran as they have done across every other place they've been except the West. If you go to Africa, BP, Shell, all of this, ExxonMobil, all of these companies have exploited all of Africa. But Africans don't have the balls. Africans don't have the means. Africans don't have the courage to be Iran. So they sit back and take it, because it would have been the same thing in Africa that Iranians have if Africans were able to attack all of these European Western imperialist powers. Let's get back to Iran. And so Iran decides to say, if we cannot audit BP, we are going to nationalize our petroleum. That means it's going to be taken from the private sector to the national sector. So kind of like, it's going to be government owned, which is something that's frowned upon in America every time they hear government is about to own something. But not only that, America is going to lose access to that oil, because now it would be Iranian owned, which is something that belongs to Iran. And what does America and the UK decide to do? They teamed up the CIA and the MI6, two most feared intelligence agencies that have created havoc across this world. The CIA has done more damage to the world than they have done good. They have done good for America, but every good that the CIA has done for America is damage for the rest of the world. Damage for the rest of the world. Because it's insignificant for you. They couldn't even stop 9/11. They couldn't even dictate it. They couldn't even figure it out before it happened. And that was supposed to be their work. They're supposed to be the ears outside to catch chatters of what's happening, to protect, as they call it, the homeland. But to also create havoc for the security interests of America, to destabilize government, destabilize regions, entire regions, for America's security interests. And so they organized a coup to overthrow a democratically elected, let's say that again. They, America and UK, organized a coup that overthrew a democratically elected. So the people of Iran elected a government for themselves. So I'll give you an example. The people of America elected Donald Trump. For example, North Korea did not like, North Korea is not too strong. Russia did not like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has done economic sanctions that are affecting Russia. Russia organized a coup, right, that overthrows Donald Trump and imposes a far left radical. Let's use the guy from Minnesota, Tim Walz. Imposes that guy. Let me ask you, Americans, and you find out that Russia was behind that coup that overthrew your democratically elected Trump and imposed Tim Walz as and Tim Walz went ahead to impose all kinds of progressive, lethal, tampon in the bathroom kind of agenda across America. So radical, so defund the police, do everything the liberals want to do. Let me ask you, America, and you know that the people behind this is the Russians. You know this because there's evidence. Russian secret agencies did that. Would you like Russia? I mean, originally you don't like him from propaganda, but now you know that you're living under a regime planted in by Russia. Would you like Russia? Would you do everything at your capacity to go to war with Russia? Would you pick up arms? Would you be ready to die for your country fighting Russia? That's what I want. I don't need any explanation. I just need to know if you, because I would pick up arms against Russia because Russia put us in the place that we are in right now. In my hypothetical situation, there is. That's Iran. That's how Iran views. Not saying that their political government is not crap to the people. Nobody should care. It's Iran's problem. If Iranians have a problem, they should solve their problems by themselves. An outside power should not come and dictate to Iran what should happen in Iran. Never. Iranians should be able to stand up themselves and dictate, because nobody comes and tells Americans what to do. If Americans want to protest, if Americans want to change, like Trump, see how far right the right is going? They're going to experience exactly the same thing that the left experienced when they went far left. A topic for a different episode. But back to Iran. That is exactly how the Iranian people view Americans. They think Americans are the enemy, not friends. So you could be here saying, oh, we are friends, we're this, but that's not how Iranians see you, because Iranians understand that you destroyed their democracy. You impose a radical leader on them. That's how they see you. How you see them and how they see you, you have to be, but you're more powerful than them. You have more weapons. You can do whatever. You are a superpower and they're not. So how do they fight you? Because if they go to fight war with you, you're always going to destroy them. And you have a nuclear weapon that you can use as you've used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and they don't want that. And so they're trying to get a nuclear weapon to protect themselves. Let's listen on to Joy Reid destroy these people some more.
Wait a minute.
the
No,
taking of the
one moment. And so the hatred of the United States had to do with the hatred of the Shah, who brutally repressed the people of Iran for 26 years until he was overthrown within Iran, because he was not their natural king. They didn't want a king any more than we wanted a king. The bottom line is the arrogance of the United States' foreign policy. We act as if people act in a vacuum, and that nothing we do has ever led to the hatred of us in other countries. And I'm not saying that hostages should be taken, but you just said because they hate our freedoms.
Well,
that's
No,
BS.
they hate the Western world. I want to answer
let me
one of
just understand that the
You heard her say, this is bravo, Joy Reid, bravo. If you were speaking like this on MSNBC, that radical channel, you would have won me over a long time ago. And I'm happy you have found your voice. You have found your essence and you have found your mission. I need to get you on the Village Boy because you were sounding like the Village Boy. Not scared, somebody that's always going to speak up. And I applaud you for that. Now, a lot of people really don't a lot of people don't really know the tragedies of the US military. Let's watch this little video here to be able to understand. I want you guys to this is a short video that we should go ahead and watch here.
1954, 6 thermonuclear bombs were detonated by the United States in Bikini Atoll. The bombs included the Castle Coon, yielding 110 kilotons of TNT, the Castle Nectar, yielding 1.69 megatons of TNT, the Castle Union, yielding 6.9 megatons of TNT, the Castle Romeo, yielding 11.1 megatons of TNT, the Castle Yankee, yielding 13.5 megatons of TNT, and the Castle Bravo, yielding 15 megatons of TNT. For reference, a kiloton is 1,000 tons of TNT, and a megaton is 1 million tons of TNT. The heights of the Castle Blast were much taller than Mount Everest, and the average height of a commercial airliner at cruising altitude. The top of the Bravo mushroom cloud reached heights of approximately 110.
As you can see, 15 kilotons was what was dropped in Hiroshima, Japan, 1945. 21 kiloton was what was dropped in Nagasaki, in Japan, in 1945. And it's 2 days apart of each other. 2 days. And this is the height of Mount Everest right here. Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. And the 21 kilotons is about, when it detonates, it goes up into the sky, about the height of Mount Everest. And these two bombs in Hiroshima, dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, at impact, wiped off 200,000 civilians. Wiped off, incinerated 200,000 Japanese. They burned, they roasted up. There's two bombs, 200,000 of them. And the people who dropped this bomb, these two bombs, are the moral authority on who gets to get a nuclear weapon and who doesn't get a nuclear weapon. And they are the defenders of Israel, who has had a nuclear program for 60 years and not once has had a single investigation or review of their program, because they're protected by the one country and the only country on earth that has used nuclear weapons on civilian population. Is that an indictment on America? It's just the hypocrisy of America.
(10,000 feet). The bomb dropped on Hiroshima was 9 kilotons, and the bomb dropped on Nagasaki was 21 kilotons. The purpose of the testing for Operation Castle was to experiment with dry fuel and thermonuclear bombs. This meant that the hydrogen isotope used in the device was solid rather than liquid, greatly reducing size and weight, allowing for the hydrogen bombs to be dropped by plane. However, because H-bombs using solid fuel was never experimented with before, the scientists in charge of the dry thermonuclear bombs tragically miscalculated the bombs' yield. The Castle Bravo, the first and largest blast of Operation Castle, was especially catastrophic. Scientists predicted that the Bravo would yield 6 megatons of TNT, but made a small error in their calculations. The lithium-7 in Bravo reacted with the helium and tritium surrounding the area, causing a chain reaction and splitting atoms and a massive energy surge. The Bravo's 15 megaton blast was 2.5 times bigger than scientists expected. Because of this fatal error, the 167 islanders surrounding Bikini Atoll experienced severe radiation exposure. Within minutes of detonation, all of the inhabitants of the Marshall Islands experienced radiation sickness.
Okay. So there were inhabitants on this island, the Marshall Island, where the United States decided to go test its bombs. 167 in total, small Pacific island country. The survivors, if there were any, I don't know. The people here from this island that saw the US come use them like guinea pigs, test, lab rats. Do you think they would look at America and say, oh yes, we love them, we love Americans, we like them? Or do you think the memory of their ancestors, their fathers and grandfathers will haunt them and say, you cannot like those people because they came here and detonated a bomb that for a generation, everything on this island has paid a price. Fishes, sea creatures, land creatures, humans, trees, everything is paying a price because America wanted to test a weapon that it could use on somebody else, someplace. What kind of enemy can America have that America would one day want to use this bomb on that enemy? That the regular military weapons that America already has in its arsenal, it's not going to be good enough that they would want to use a hydrogen bomb. Whatever, I'm not even a chemist. This is already past my pay grade. But what kind of enemy is going to come that America is going to want to use this weapon on. It's a country that does not prioritize giving health care to its citizens, giving tuition assistance to its citizens. They don't even want housing assistance to the poor. They don't want to take care of Americans, but they want to invest in the most powerful weapon that could do the most powerful damage to humanity. And that's supposed to be the force of good. This army right here that possesses the weapon that can inflict the most pain to humanity. They've already done so to 200,000 Japanese, wiped them off. To date, Hiroshima and Nagasaki are still experiencing radiation effect till 2025 that I'm doing this video right now. If you go to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you will see traces of a bomb that was dropped in 1945. As if that was not enough. 1954, right after they destabilized Iran, they were practicing a more lethal bomb, lethal than the atomic bomb they had just dropped 10 years prior in Japan. And this is the force for good. This is the good guys. These are the good guys. This is the practice session for the good guys. So what are the bad guys doing? I would like to know what the bad guys are doing, because these are the good guys. This is what the good guys are doing. The good guys are dropping bombs in the Marshall Islands to check that in case we need to use the bombs, let's go test it on the people of the Marshall Islands. These are the good guys. Please show me what the bad guys are doing. Because the bad guys, if you know anything about the bad guys, they're 10 times worse than the good guys. The good guys have to figure out a plan to outsmart the bad guys. If these are the good guys, show me what the bad guys have done that they deserve this weapon to be dropped on them. Because the good guys have to come and free the world. If Iran is the bad guys, show me what Iran has done that deserve that a bomb of this magnitude, because you have it. So you're intending that one day you would have to use it. Because what's the point of spending all of this money and all of this energy to develop this kind of weapon without the intention of using it?
Showing symptoms of itchiness, sore skin, vomiting, diarrhea, and fatigue. Operation Castle was inspired from Operation Crossroads, which took place in 1946 at Bikini Atoll. Crossroads was meant to experiment the effects of H-bombs on warships. Glenn T. Seaborg, the head chemist of the Atomic Energy Commission, called Operation Crossroads the world's first nuclear disaster because of the fallout from the Baker bomb.
That chemist could have figured out a cure for cancer. He could have figured out plenty of different cures for different ailments, diseases that affect humanity. But no, he went into the laboratory to figure out a weapon that can inflict so much pain on humanity. The good guys. The good guys went into the lab to say, there's an enemy out there that we have to destroy that enemy. And this is the machine that we're going to need to destroy that enemy.
The bomb was detonated 90 feet underwater and spewed radioactive sea spray several miles away from the 23 kiloton blast. The next testing done in the Marshall Islands was Operation Ivy. Scientists created a wet liquid isotope bomb and the first ever hydrogen bomb named Ivy Mike, a bomb that was the size of a house. Ivy Mike was 10.4 megatons of TNT.
A bomb that's the size of a house. The good guys created a bomb that's the size of a house. That's what the good guys did. Created a bomb that's the size of a house. To be used for who? On who? The bad guys. The bad guys are out there somewhere. They dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, wiping off 200,000 Japanese civilians. They were the bad guys. And this was 4 months after the attack on Pearl Harbor, which is outside continental USA. They went out to Japan and incinerated 200,000 civilians. Bad guys, bad Japanese guys. And now they have a bomb the size that makes that bomb a joke. That Hiroshima and Nagasaki bomb pales in comparison to this bomb. And they test it because they have to know that it works. Because this is the point of detonating a bomb and it goes, oops, like the North Korea kind of bombs that, we don't know if it works.
TNT and was the first explosion over 1 megaton. Because of its success, scientists wanted to create a dry fuel sourced bomb. This led the United States to experiment with Operation Castle. Before the operation was conducted, residents of Bikini Atoll were transported to Rongelap voluntarily after the discovery of the radiation.
So they came to a country, deported the people out of the country voluntarily, they say, to use their land as a trial for their weapon that would be used against the bad guys. And I asked the question again. If the residents of this 167 of them, not a lot of people, it's a small island, right? If the residents of this place, Marshall Island, Bikini Atoll, if the residents could say something, do you think they will be chanting death to America? Do you think they would love America? Do you think they would be like, oh yeah, you came to our country and bombed the shit out of our country, but somehow we love you. Somehow we appreciate you. Is that the narrative? And if these people had the means to inflict some kind of pain to America, what do you think the narrative would be? The people of that island don't like Americans' way of life. Nobody's going to say, no, it's because America went there and tested bombs, nuclear bombs, that killed the country, killed the ecosystem. Nobody's going to say that. Although history has a recollection that that's what happens. But you see, those guys on the CNN panel are going to say they hate our way of life. They hate this, they hate that. But they're never going to tell you why. Why do they hate you? Because you came and dropped a bomb that is the size of a house on their little island. And it was just for you to test to see if that bomb works. It's not for you're attacking an enemy. You're just testing. You couldn't test it in Arizona. You couldn't test it in the deserts of Nevada. You couldn't test it in Alaska. You couldn't test it in any of your different territories that you own, Virgin Islands. You couldn't test it anywhere else. You went someplace else. They don't know where. You figure out 167 people. We can move them around, bomb this place out, test it out, and see how it reacts.
Outbreak from the Bravo, residents were not transported away from the contaminated land until 6 months later. Because Rongelap could not produce enough food, the residents starved. Every island in the Marshall Islands.
So the residents starved. Oh well, the good guys are testing a bomb.
Was contaminated, leading to islanders suffering from thyroid tumors, including 20 of the 29 children on Rongelap after the Bravo detonation. Birth defects in women grew to 60%, causing an exponential growth in disfigured newborns with larger than normal heads and opaque skin. None of these babies lasted more than a few days after being born. While treating the islanders with hospital aid, the United States declared to study the effects of fallout on the islanders, hoping to learn about the effects of radioactive fallout from Operation Castle. The U.S. government named this Project 4.1.
In 1940.
So there you have it. Whenever anybody tells you that somebody does not like your way of life, somebody that lives in some remote place outside the world, outside of you, probably don't even have TV, don't even know what way of life you're talking about, please ask the question, but why? Why is this person living in this distant world not going to like me? And follow the root cause. You would always find that you went to that person first and messed up with their system. And like I said, if Africans had the means, if Africans had the balls, if Africans had the ability to be the Iran of Africa, most of Europe will see this problem because France colonized all of French Africa, England colonized all of English Africa. This country have deep-rooted hatred for this colonial powers, but they don't have the ability to attack. They're like the residents of the Marshall Islands. They don't have the ability to go after their colonizers, because if they did, they'd be attacking them every day, every how. This is supposed to be a short video. I hope you've learned a lot. And before I end this video, I found something I was talking about after the US dropped the bomb on Iran. What is the point for Iran to stay with the IAEA? They can't protect Iran. They can't protect any country. Iran needs to walk out of that organization, kick them out of Iran. Because you're signed to a treaty that they're supposed to come and investigate your facilities, report back, and you're trying to comply. Of course, when you're trying to comply, there are times that you're going to fall out or you're going to hide things so that you're not in compliance. Everybody does it with compliance. There's not a single company anywhere in the world that's 100% compliant. It does not happen anywhere. Companies hide results. Companies manufacture data. Companies mask everything when it's time for compliance investigations. And you pass your compliance review and you keep doing what you do. But behind the scenes, we know for a fact that you're not perfect. So Iran is not perfect. By you telling me a country with the nuclear might that can basically wipe all of the Middle East can put a crater in the Middle East if it drops one of its fancy bombs on Iranian soil, is scared that Iran is having one nuclear weapon, two nuclear weapons? Is that what you're telling me? That America is worried about Iran having a nuclear weapon? With a snap of a finger, Iran can disappear, and we say, oops, our bad, and we give the money to rebuild with radiation problems? No, that's not the issue. Israel is a nuclear power. If Iran has a bomb and wants to attack Israel, Israel also has bombs that can attack. Both of them want to blow out each other. Well, you know what? That's what they want to do. But I hate hypocrisy. I hate hypocrisy. So I supported the idea that Iran should work out, and every other country that is a member of the NPT and the IAEA should walk out of those weak organizations. Walk out of them. They're pointless, because if you're respecting the compliance, another country can walk in and bomb you, irrespective of the fact that you're under compliance and you're a signatory of an agency that the person bombing you is not even a signatory for that same organization. And what did I find online? What did I find? Breaking news. The law has been signed. Iran now officially has no cooperation with the IAEA, meaning no inspections. But it's not because I want Iran to be rebellious. It's because the IAEA is a pointless organization, as indicated by America. America does not care about the studies, about the reviews, about anything that's done by the IAEA. If America is not satisfied, America is going to go there and bomb you, irrespective of whatever the IAEA does. So you could be in compliance. The IAEA could say you don't have nuclear weapons. If Americans say you have nuclear weapons, that's all that matters. And America is going to come bomb you. So what is the point of having these people come into your facilities, find out information, leak it out to sell it out to the highest bidder? You're putting yourself out at risk. If you're going to go gangster, go gangster. Because guess what? If you have nuclear bombs and nuclear weapons, if you're developing nuclear weapons and America does not like it, America's going to come bomb your country anyways. So yes, the IAEA is BS. NPT is BS. As long as there's one country that's not a signatory of these treaties and organizations, that organization should become obsolete and BS. That Israel can take upon itself and invade. Just imagine for a second that Iran had started this war. Iran had gone and just attacked Israel. Whoo, boy. Whoo. Think for a second. And that's the hypocrisy. And I've asked, when you look at the people, the children from the Marshall Islands that have been tested, lab rats for all kinds of nuclear weapons, do you think they should love America? So if these people became terrorists and were blowing up places in America, they're going to say, oh, they don't like our way of life. So I call on every country to walk out of the IAEA, to walk out of the NPT. If you want to develop nuclear weapons, go do it. Everybody has one. Everybody should have one. Why should some countries have one and other countries not have one? And I could tell you for a fact, every country that has an enemy with a Western country is because the Western country went there first and messed with them. And that's the genesis of the truth. It's your boy for the Village Boy podcast. Continue to like the show if you find value in it. Let's continue to have these difficult conversations. Let's build this channel together. I know it's a sensitive conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had if we want to have the America that you're going to leave for your children, your grandchildren, and create and limit the number of enemies. Because when you create these enemies, then you have a need to go build these bombs. It's your host, Trez.